That's right, baby. Oh no! I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so slick. I was like, I killed everyone. Everything is good. No, nothing to worry about.
Your shots can't really follow me. I can roll right under them.
Or... So yeah, as you can see, like, staying grounded and being able to kind of punch at them like that is a really good way of being able to handle them. Like, of course, it's all contingent on how much, kind of bullet time energy is spent. Actually, I don't know if that has, like, a particular name in this game. I would be curious to know if that, like, instinct or, you know, some kind of internal or external kind of facing name beyond your bullet time kind of, like, you know, thing, you know? Because it's obvious it's bullet time, right? Like, it's obvious, but, you know, what else is it, basically, is kind of the thing there. Oh, wow, yeah. Also, as well, you don't get staggered by those blasts, too. So if you're careful, then you need to kind of do some stuff. Nelly Furtado, yeah, exactly. That's another person who, again, like, you know, like, certain style before Timbaland, certain style with Timbaland to make a hit, basically. Like, again, I feel like I feel like as well, like, a portion of kind of what changed the way producers kind of work with music is a lot more kind of independent producers, like, very regularly work with, like, a smaller group of artists. And there's not really kind of this push to be like, okay, if you're a major, you know, if you're, you know, Ice Spice, for an example, like, you need to stop working with Riot, you need to work with, you know, Hit Boy on something, or you need to work with, like, you know, Not All Heroes Wear Capes. You need to be on Not All Heroes Wear Capes 3 or something like that. Like, you need to do that. Like, there's no real push to kind of need people to do that. Like, they can kind of sit with their own producers, they can kind of sit with kind of their own kind of team, basically. And because people don't really need to, you know, there's not really kind of like, you know, it's more a label issue. Like, I feel like this is the worst thing to talk about while we're playing this game, basically, but, like, there is definitely an issue in music right now where people are like, okay, where labels and, like, companies as a whole are just not really all that interested in, like, taking, like, musicians under their belt and kind of, like, investing in them in a way that, like, makes sense. Like, they're not like, no, let's give these people, like, top-of-the-line producers. Let's give these people, like, crazy choreo. Let's give people all this type of stuff. Like, I feel like that's why people gravitate towards, like, K-pop and, like, J-pop these days. K-pop more. I mean, I would say K-pop's kind of, like, the thing that's, like, made that more mainstream, basically.
Couldn't hold more if I tried.
Never. Never, ever. I never like to say never, but never ever.
Taking the scenic route.
But it's definitely, there's this thought where it's like, oh, you know, like, it would be so easy for artists who are like, you know, they make a song that blows up on TikTok, or they make a song that blows up on, like, you know, streaming exclusively, or they make something that blows up on social media, and then, you know, they get signed, and the company's like, great, you made that, but, you know, we're gonna want you to kind of, like, you know, take it slow. We're gonna want you to kind of, like, you know, pay your dues a little bit more. Not pay your dues as in, like, oh, you need to move slower specifically for the sake of, you know, artists who are around you, basically. But, like, imagine Ice Spice, like, her showmanship, if, like, her label paid any attention to her other than just kind of saying, go on tours, do all this stuff.
I'm not usually taken
Just
by
go out
surprise. But I don't know what you are.
I don't remember who it was, but there's an artist who was literally like, their second
has a
ever
tendency to
live
grab
performance
onto
was at
things.
Rolling Loud. It's
Turn
like,
them
what
over
are
and
we
over
doing?
again
What
until
happened?
That makes sense. Sometimes it isn't good for me.
Also, he is literally going. Yeah, no. This says a lot about society.
But that's oldness. I think about the veil. I think about the dress. Simple, formal, torn. I think about the blood. I think about the ball of energy called from elsewhere. And how exhausted she looks after it's been fired. Before she does it again. The story starts to assemble itself in my mind. About a damned bride whose suitor drags her to hell. And she can't stop loving him anyway. Is that your story? Do I see you? Or am I just projecting a little bit?
I like whenever he has kind of a moment where he's just like, man, like, you know, like he is kind of feeling he's in his feelings, like he kind of does like always look at the camera when he's about to do something like that. There's always a moment where it's just like, yeah, like, you know, clearly he sees like the hypocrisy in kind of what he's doing, or the hypocrisy in the way that he presents himself. And he kind of looks at the camera to say, yeah, you know, I know, but
Is that a
you know, I
chandelier?
know. I forgot that this level started with no music. I was like, what happened? Who is okay? I'm about to show how uncultured I am. Who is Claudia? Is that the main character in Silent Hill 3? The one who's enjoying her beautiful blonde hair after killing God? They kind of are. I don't know.
Oh man, it smells like sweat.
The grunts are very rhythmic. Oh Lord. I'm wasting my airtime. Wasted my airtime. Oop. Oh, that was good. I made the most of that there. Heather, okay. I knew she had like a very normal name, but like, I'm just trying to remember who it was. I must confess, the only franchise that I've never really kind of, you know, even remotely dipped my toes into is Silent Hill. Like, even with like some games where I'm like, oh, these are like classic games, I know at least one or two things about them. Like, I've never played Tomb Raider, but I know about, you know, Tomb Raider, you know, if that makes sense.
So, for probes 11 through 14, what's going through your head?
This is a
I'll be honest,
crazy
sir.
one.
At that point, I'm thinking my ass must be delicious.
Right.
I'm thinking my ass is a treasure trove of scientific data and research, because otherwise, there ain't no reason for him to keep coming back.
You'd assume so.
As you know, I
This is
tried
a
to make my ass dirty.
crazy conversation to have with
Right.
somebody.
It didn't make a difference. They went right back in there.
Fascinating. We'll finish going through the other 24 experiences in your 38 probe journey in just a moment. But first,
38?
this is QRTXY Radio, home of the classics.
It's not your dad's oldies radio. It's your mom's.
Kind of need to sit with that one for a second. I don't even know what I'd do if I was probed by an alien 38 times. I don't know. I just, at that point, I'd just be like, yeah, sure, why not? Which I guess is what he's like. He's literally just like, yeah. Alright. Y'all want that succulent human ass? You can have it. Obviously, I'm still looking for the pill cop conversations there. good to be able to get even more of the kitsch in this game, you know? Back out here. Let's get some more hostages. Should I comment on the fact that I'm killing all the hostages, or should I just, like, leave them? I wonder. Get your fingers out of my ass! I'm not using these Molotovs, so it's not good. I guess the main thing the pistols have is that they reload faster. Oh, where'd everybody else go? Oh, there. I swear there's more enemies in here. Yeah, let's just imagine that. Me talks extensively about how the colors in this game guide you. Me moves in directions where the colors and lights aren't guiding me. You can, like, if you...
Hi, doggy.
That is such a crazy picture. These have to be, like, developer, like, animals and stuff like that, you know? Like, it's gotta be one of those, like, we put one of these in as a joke, and then we decide to put all of them, we decide to put in more after that. I haven't watched or read too many interviews about this game. That's not really how I like to play games to begin with, kind of like seeking out kind of every bit of developer information, and then, you know, to be able to kind of like review it properly, you know? If it happens, it happens, but, you know, for the most part, I'm kind of like, yeah, you know, there's this and there's that, but I would be curious to find out some more about kind of the specific decisions that, you know, went into this game's creation, you know? I can tell that there's probably a, you know, a field day of kind of like, things to kind of chat about in that way. Oh, I can't see! I can't see! Get out of the way! I can't see!
Oh fuck, that's a lot of monsters.
Quoting my favorite Tobey Maguire moment. One of them, anyway. More people should be rude to paparazzi. That's what I say. Ouroboros will be released into the atmosphere, ensuring complete global saturation.
Glad they're behind glass. Not looking forward to finding out why.
In the hole. In the hole. You belong, you belong, you belong, you belong in the hole. In the hole. You belong, you belong, you belong, you belong.
Complete global hole. I like the strobe.
Connected to my movement, maybe.
Hand, slip, loose,
Okay.
hard, land, kick, dust, no, plan. In the hole, in the hole. Yeah, no, break, earth, scream, wall, shake. Snake.
I can catch him here.
In the hole, in the hole, in the hole. You belong, you belong, you belong, you belong in the hole. In the hole. You belong, you belong, you belong in the hole. In the hole.
This is when I found a bit more repetitive, honestly.
In the hole. In the hole.
It definitely works for the section, though. Like, that's the thing. Like,
Stand.
I can score these songs in if I would listen to them separately, and I can score them in whether they fit for the level.
Close here.
Ooh, we took drama 101.
Tall, slum, bull, old, wall, I swim, commerce, ball.
And for this, I'm definitely scoring this very high on the it works super well to create a very creepy atmosphere for the stage.
You belong, you belong, you belong.
Oh. Yeah, you're not doing any more of that.
I tried. Belong, you belong, you belong, you belong. Wake up, no sound. Creatures stop round. Raise seats. In the hole, miss home, no light. Creatures, eyes right, loose, sweet, rain, quiet.
See, like, I have, like, so many of these, strike breaker, bullets. I'm just gonna call it a teleport. I feel dirty calling it a strike breaker. I can't lie. But yeah, I have so many of these that it's, like, the most viable option for me at this particular time. Even with the limited, reload limit, even with the kind of more limited reloads. Well, that failed.
It's here again. Why the fuck are you here?
See, he sounds way more freaked out about this experience than he did before. But the Puppeteer is a very difficult enemy type to deal with if you're not the type of person that likes killing enemies, you know, as soon as they appear. He runs around a whole bunch. He's just in general a real nuisance. And the enemies that he generates are harder to hit because their hitboxes are much lower. So you're in general just in for a much worse time.
Always need ammo. The best story I've ever seen, but I'll be working this.
That's right, baby. Oh no! I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so slick. I was like, I killed everyone. Everything is good. Nothing to worry about. Oh well. Darken I don't know how to pronounce that word.
I'm already here, man. Can't escape with death in my veins. Where am I gonna go?
See that, him arguing with the impossible space. Those are little touches that I feel like help with kind of like assisting in building the world. Because to be honest, he very easily could just be like a stoic type of character, but I feel like Max Payne was even kind of, he broke the fourth wall
He's on the
to some
beacon. I killed
degree
enough
as well.
monsters to move forward. How polite.
There was definitely kind of that kind of like sardonic level of like, oh, I'm poking fun at the world to a degree on top of everything else. So I'm really not using these stakes. Like earlier, I couldn't find enough stakes to save my life, and now I have too many, and I can never pick any up. I think that was the way it went when I played it originally. Like I was like, okay, I'll preserve my stakes a bit more because I don't want to like, you know, waste them in case I need it. And then like by the end, you kind of are in a situation where you can find enough stakes just on the level. I remember, speaking of levels, I remember this level being pretty hard for me when I played originally. I don't know why. I think it was just kind of the way. Oh, stay away. The way they straighten when they're about to ragdoll is kind of funny. I can't lie. It's funny in a dark way, but it's kind of funny. Darkened sepulcher. Call it whatever you want. I don't know. But yeah, you don't take hit stun from enemies in this game. So that's where those particular characters become a little bit more difficult to deal with if you're not careful. Like, this is the section I remember dying in the most. Kill him. You kill him. And then kill him. And then... Oh, yeah. Then you... Well... I'm really showing a lack of true memory for how this level is supposed to work. Oh, also, I'm showing a lack of true skill as well. Not really demonstrating a lot of talent here. Oh, hi. The reason I usually like to slow down time whenever I'm shooting them is because it makes it easier to kind of like handle if you can't get a shot off.
His name was Chad Shakespeare.
He showed me his driver's license.
You asked?
He insisted, actually.
He told you something.
Hey, I'm trying to listen to a story here. No. I hadn't reloaded any of my guns. Do you mind? I really want to know what's going on with Chad Shakespeare. So this is where the level kind of becomes a little difficult if you do die or you do find a little trickiness to what you're doing. And these enemies just spawn immediately. Because there's so many of them that are cached into the world. You you are kind of left with some problems there. So that's, again, that's why I like to do the, yep, and here we go. Yeah. So let's go. Well, that was the actual line. You know, that was the actual line, and it's like, well, you know, how do we explain that to the 8-year-olds that we're trying to market to this show? Like, they even cut out the animation cells where Jupes is like literally just like, yeah, you want to compare measurements? Like, they cut all that. They literally was just like, yeah, no, like, talent, right? Like, I don't know if that, like, that also might have been like a, like, I don't know if talent was like a euphemism for boobs at that time either, but again, a lot of unintentional kind of like stuff that they didn't realize they were doing wrong, or they didn't realize they were screwing up with in some degree. Sorry to burst your bubble. Like, again, I'm making that joke a billion times. I'm Mars. I'm a big Sailor Mars fan, honestly. But it helps that, like, I think, like, Jupiter's the character that I liked, like, from the outset. Like, when I watched the original stuff and when I saw the character, I'm like, oh, here is a tall girl who is meant to kind of be strong and break from kind of like the traditional femininity standard. And it's like, okay, like, I can see, I actually really like that they did something like that. And that's kind of like a cool, that's kind of a cool thing that they did there. But like, of course, watching the show, it's like there is kind of a lot more for Mars in the show specifically. So like, looking beyond pure aesthetics or beyond pure kind of like, okay, they did that. Like, I think there's more out there for Mars fans. Also, as well, Mars in the original manga and also in the tokusatsu is like a huge lesbian as well. So it's like there's that extra little bit of kind of like, oh, like this is a cool kind of thing there for her. Oh, hello, you're not doing that to me again.
Incredible. He told you something when he sold you the jacket. What was it?
Oh, the pocket. And he put something in it, and he said that I'd need it one day.
Guys, I'm trying to listen to the story.
Oh.
Wow.
Why would he think you need a knife?
I don't know. It's a big ass knife, though. I'm surprised it fits on there. Good jacket.
In the future, I don't think we should buy things from men named Chad Shakespeare.
No arguments here.
Chad Shakespeare is such a crazy name. Craziest thing is I know people who are named like that, so...
These are some familiar fucking graves the void is desecrating.
What if I was a ghoul?
Okay, this is the most relatable thing ever. Would you still love me if I was a worm, James?
I'd still like you.
What if I was a vampire?
And I would still really, really, really like you.
What if I was a vampire?
Can you turn into a bat?
No. But some of my kind can.
I don't remember feeling.
I like that that's the reveal.
Or getting turned.
Well, that's not how this works.
What are you saying, Janet?
Look into my eyes, James.
She took my head into her hands and she looked into my eyes and she stared. And I remember, it was like I could see the imprint on her shoulders of the weight the desperation, and that very moment to be believed. For me to know she was telling the truth.
I don't know how people respond to...
I held her for a half hour in this graveyard.
Oh, there you go.
As she cried.
I don't know how people respond to the "would you still love me if I was a worm" kind of conversation.
I hadn't noticed that all of her dates had been at night. And now I'm here again.
Like, it's like, yeah, like,
fuck?
but, you know, I don't feel like that's the type of conversation you could have more than, like, twice before going insane. I don't know.